Later, like when we try to use more of ISU, I will get to know, because now I am just not getting like, what is that thing and why we are doing it. Okay, so just wait for now. I have created an ISU, and the next thing is that we create the security groups. So there are 3 things when we cover the. So I was not deeper going into security for now, because I was just for now. I thought that let's have that report created. So first now, what I am doing is, I have created ISU. I already have a security group, which we'll be discussing in detail. So, for now, what I am doing is I have just created the ISU, and now I am assigning this ISU to an existing security group, which I have. So from ISU to integration system security groups, there is a one-to-many relationship. One ISU can have many integration system users. So for now, I'll just do this so that I don't need to create the security again. It will just use the same security which is required for the report. So what I'll do is, I'll just try to see if this new ISU is working or not. It does have access. If the other access is there, custom report creation. Manage all custom reports. Maybe the ownership. Transfer the ownership. So I go to my report. Transfer ownership. So what I am doing here is I am transferring my ownership of that report, which I had, to this new ISU which I have created. So here I am. Opening. So here I am. So now. So we are just back on the topic, what I was trying to discuss. I'll cover this in the detail security session. What the ISU, what the security group, and what are domains. So for now, I just want to resume from my previous topic what I was trying to do, that I am generating 2 XMLs. So here as you know that we have a simple XML, and one of the more common format used is the JSON. So JSON is JSON. I can just discuss the structure once otherwise. So this is simple XML. This is work XML. So XML does not have any default. Format is equals to by default. If you are generating work, the example is the default format, so no need to open. The format option is not appended at the end of the URL, but for rest of the formats the question mark format is equals to is appended at the end of the URL. So what is the difference between work XML and the simple XML? So actually XML is not a Workday language, but Workday has kind of made some adaptations to include some extra attribute level information in the Workday XML, while in the simple XML it is just a straightforward information that is there. That is bare minimum which is required. But in Workday XML, there is more additional level of information which is not even exposed in my custom report, but Workday kind of fetches the additional level of information. So we will see the difference. So this is my Workday XML and this is my simple XML, so the data is same. So in our data, we just had hired date department, primary work email, and the dependent level, dependent related information. Here, if you would see, this is the Workday XML. The fields are same. Here I have hired date, I have the department which was the cost center, and then I have the primary work email and then the dependent details. So some of the fields will remain same in the simple XML and in the Workday XML, but some of the fields which Workday supports for the Workday XML, that is the additional level information, you will see there is more than information that is required. So hired date. It is same in both Workday XML and simple XML as well. Now, if you see this department field, so this information you will see. This Workday XML. The difference that you are going to feel is especially for the multi-instance field, for the single instance type of fields where you would see more information. In the Workday XML. So if I just go for the department, what was the department? Department was my cost center, if I just show you here. So department was my cost center, which was a single instance field. So if you see here for my single instance field, you will see department is mentioned department and my department name mentioned under the department tag. Now, if I go to Workday XML, you will see for the department there is a bigger tag created, not a straightforward tag. So department, if I open and close, you will see in the department there is more information that is needed. So this thing, which was mentioned in the simple XML as it is, between the department and enclosed tag, there was a department element and inside the department element there was just the information which was needed, which was the department name, and that's it. That was closed. But in the Workday XML I am seeing a more level of drill down information, more detail level of information which is in the form of IDs which Workday maintain inside Workday. So you will see here. So this thing is called the XML element that we are using. So our element is department and the additional level of information. These are called inside the element are called attributes. So the element of this department attribute. There is an attribute called descriptor. So in this descriptor I am getting the same information which I was getting by default directly in the simple XML here, as the information. So if I just want to fetch the WD department, I will get different condition in this case, also if I am just fetching WD department as an XPath. So did we discuss the XPath? Namespace we discussed? Did we discuss the XPath? No, VJ, we did not. No, okay. So what happens is that in the report that is this, we discussed the namespace. This is the namespace of the report, so my output of the XML is here. So how this output is understood in the XML format. So whenever the output is coming from report, a custom report. So this is how the generic format of the output would be in, especially in the XML case. When XML is getting generated, no matter if it is a simple XML or a Workday XML, the main output structure would be same, that there will be little more extra attributes that we just discussed. We will be discussing more, but more or less, the structure from your custom report will be like this. There will be a main parent node which will be called as WD report data. And why it is called as WD report data? Because the namespace of your custom report, which is this namespace. There is a namespace alias created by Workday for this report. XMLNS is WD, you can call it as XE as well. You can call it as ABCD as well, if you want. In that case, whatever the namespace tag, that Workday is, because this namespace we are not generating. This is only part of which we have defined in our Advanced tab. But when the XML is getting generated, this is generated by a Workday. What is the namespace alias that Workday is giving it? So XML namespace, it's a common term. Then this thing, WD, which is generated by Workday for us. So every output, whenever coming from a custom report Workday, is by default using WD as the alias for the namespace representation of this custom report's name. So they would be using WD and then the namespace of the custom report. So now, if I want to identify any data coming from this custom report, I would be using WD as a prefix inside every element of my XML, so that it can be described that this data is coming from a source called this custom report, for which we have a WD as the XML namespace alias. So now every element inside this XML will be element and attribute both. First of all, we will discuss what is element and attribute. So this is your XML element, which is here inside. Inside it, whatever it, additional things, will be the attributes. So in this case, if I say XML, NS is kind of attribute of this report data, which is like an additional level of information. So this is the namespace prefix generated for this namespace of my custom report, and every custom report coming out of Workday will have a namespace prefix of WD and then the respective namespace of the report. So now my main data will be encapsulated inside this WD report. Data and WD report are getting closed now. If I open it inside this, I will have multiple report entry sections, report entry, report entry. These number of report entries will be dependent on the number of rows generated by that custom report. In our case, since it is a worker data, then these many numbers of workers are there in your custom report as an output. So these many number of report entry tags will be generated. If you are running it for a job profile, level of information, if you are running it for a call center. So, whatever your primary business object is, and that many rows are there in your custom report, that many report entry tags will be generated, so in the report entry tags. So first of all, it is the main element tag, WD report data. Inside it, there will be lot of repetitions of WD report entry. Because that many rows of data has that many rows of WD report entry will be repeated again. WD report entry is an element of this XML and again prefixed by WD. So now, inside this, every sort of data that was defined by you in your custom report. Let's see, in our case we had 4 columns of data, so that will all be coming inside this WD report entry for each and every worker. So WD report entry, first worker, the higher data element for this. So WD higher data, the value of the higher data. Then. So first of all, let's understand it the simple way. So WD report entry. Inside this I have higher data, department, primary work department. Name from department, dependent names of the workers. So the information, which is multi-instance in nature, so this information was having one-to-one relationship, one hire date, one department, one primary work email. But whenever there is a multi-instance field coming in. So how? WD generates the XML for you for the multi-instance fields, so you have the same tag which was there in your custom report. This was the tag I have used, so these are the same tags generated, so this is the same tag I have. Here and inside this, my multiple information is being shown me by a separation of a colon. Semicolon. So my multi-level information is segregated by a semicolon and then added if I have more dependent. So one information, second, third, fourth. So how? If it is only one dependent, then it will just be one no semicolon, and then directly table. So this is how WD is generating you the multi-instance fields and multiple information. How can it be shown in the simple example? So this is how it is shown in the simple example.